Have you ever driven in a large city and gotten stuck in traffic? Terrible, right? Oftentimes, this is caused by a bottleneck in the road where lots of different cars are all trying to merge together. In our bodies, the nervous system is a superhighway that carries all of the electrical impulses necessary for survival to the brain. All of the signals merge together in the spinal cord and then reach a bottleneck at the brainstem. Fortunately, there aren't any traffic jams, and all the signals are received rapidly by the brain. In this video, we will be looking at the central nervous system, which includes the brain and the spinal cord. In this video, we are going to focus on the brainstem and give you a tool to help orient yourself and remember each of its structures. In order to do this, we will use the visual of a starfish. The brainstem is made up of three distinct structures known as the midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. If we rotate the brain and focus in on these structures, you'll notice they resemble a starfish. First, we will talk about the medulla oblongata. Let's pretend that our starfish has a head. We can relate this to the medulla oblongata. The medulla oblongata is located at the base of the brainstem and travels through the foramen magnum of the skull. This structure connects the higher levels of the brain with the spinal cord and controls breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure. The next structure we will discuss is the pons. We like to think of this structure as the starfish's belly. The pons contains nuclei that relay signals from the forebrain to the cerebellum. This structure also contains the pneumotaxic center that controls the rate and depth of breathing of an individual. If damaged, the breathing pattern would be abnormal and make breathing on our own nearly impossible. Also, coming off the pons and entering both cerebellar hemispheres are structures known as the cerebellar peduncles. We can refer to these structures as the arms of our starfish. The peduncles contain nerve tracts that allow for communication between the brainstem and the cerebellum. If damaged, the brainstem would not have access to the functions of the cerebellum, which coordinates movement. Imagine seeing something in front of you and not being able to grab it. That would be really frustrating, wouldn't it? If you had a lesion in your cerebellar peduncles, this would be everyday life for you. Lastly, we will talk about the region of the brainstem known as the midbrain. This area is comprised of two different structures, the cerebral peduncles and the corpora quadrigemina. The midbrain connects the two inferior structures of the brainstem to the thalamus via the cerebral peduncles, which are represented by the starfish's legs. Just like the cerebellar peduncles, there are nerve bundles that transport signals from the pons to each of the cerebral hemispheres. Posterior to these structures and beneath the cerebellum is the corpora quadrigemina, meaning quadruplet bodies. These four structures are called colliculi and can be separated into two pairs, superior colliculi and inferior colliculi. The superior colliculi function as the visual reflex center, and the inferior colliculi function as the audio reflex center of the body. We can think of corpora quadrigemina as the backside of the starfish. With the help of our starfish visual, you now hopefully have a firm grasp on the anatomical structures of the brainstem.